TRT World's defense analyst Oubai Shahbandar joins us now from the conference here in Istanbul. Hi, Oubai. Just bring us up to speed on exactly what is being discussed. I mean, how much of an international effort needs to be made now to stop this escalation of violence in Syria?
Well, Andre, it's been about a month since this military escalation began in the northwest provinces of Idlib and Hama, with the Assad regime and the Russian forces attempting to advance on rebel positions in areas controlled by the opposition. And here in Istanbul today, a major press conference is being held by Raed al-Saleh, the chief of the Syrian Civil Defense, also known as the White Helmets, and a variety of leaders of Syrian humanitarian organizations that are on the ground in Idlib right now. They are attempting to gain the world's attention and to call for international action by members of the United Nations Security Council. And some of the numbers that they retold in this press conference were absolutely staggering, with over 24 attacks on health facilities, 6 attacks on civil defense centers, and 29 attacks on schools, and many, many more that have been taking place against civilian infrastructure in northwest Syria in the past 4 weeks alone. Over 307,000 people, as a result, have been displaced from their homes, and with 200,000 of them living exposed in the open with no shelter whatsoever. So clearly we are on the verge of a massive humanitarian catastrophe in Idlib today, and the leaders of the Syrian humanitarian organizations and the civil defense are calling for the guarantors of the de-escalation zones to implement the agreement in order to prevent civilians from any further harm. It's now another question on whether or not that will actually happen, and if Moscow and Damascus will end this ongoing escalation. But very clearly here, a message of dire desperation for the world to take action before any more civilians are killed in northwest Syria.
And Oubai, I mean, Russia is one of those guarantors you mentioned, and they are accused of carrying out these bombing campaigns in Idlib province and killing civilians. What has Russia and the regime had to say about what they're actually doing here? What are they trying to achieve?
Well, we heard from the Syrian Civil Defense today very clearly that they believe that the Russians are purposefully targeting hospitals, health facilities, schools, and civilian infrastructure to make northwest Syria inhabitable. That is this area that's controlled by the opposition. Of course, Russia is allied with the Assad regime and maintains a permanent airbase in Hamaim in northwest Syria, in the Latakia province. Of course, as you mentioned, Moscow is a signatory to the Astana agreement and to the Sochi agreement that's supposedly to maintain a de-escalation zone and to stop violence in northwest Syria. Very clearly, the Russian forces have not have held to that agreement, as we're seeing as they continue operations in broad daylight in Idlib. And of course, the Syrian Civil Defense here calling for the United Nations to take action, and for the guarantors with Turkey on one side and Russia and Iran on the other to go back to the de-escalation zone agreement in order to prevent an ongoing humanitarian catastrophe from escalating even further.
Okay, Oubai, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you for that from here in Istanbul.